China Cat and Lolly D. Let's welcome them to the stage. There we go.
Good morning.
Good morning. Before we say, I'm annoyed, Lolly.
You're already annoyed. You've been here 2 minutes.
I've just noticed that this place is rigged. Where is he? Unemployed. Just won 25 applause credits in his own club.
Oh my gosh.
I would like to thank the Academy, all the people that supported me on this win.
No, he's coming
No, come back here. Come back here.
Not only was he given 25 applause points, he's now stealing our applause.
I know, right? Yeah, plus he's taking our hard-earned applause. I noticed that. He does that a lot.
For this. We work hard.
Yeah. He has to make sure he shows up on that most entertaining in a respectable spot. Right?
That's right. I don't even know where I'm at on the list. We won't bring it up right now. I'm a lot more supportive than I am entertaining nowadays.
Well, you know what? And that is true. That is true. And not that you're more supportive than entertaining, but you are incredibly supportive. So thank you for that. And we all appreciate you for that. We did want to talk to you for a minute. Cal was saying, go ahead, Cal.
Just throw me right on the spot right now.
It's you. That's all. It's all you.
Wow, I'm going to stand next to Lolly because.
Okay. There you go.
No, do you know the guys here? We all know about Connect. We all experience Connect in the headset, but you actually experienced it in real life. How was that? That must have been cool.
So the coolest thing, I mean, there were a lot of really cool things about the experience of being physically at Connect at Meta's world headquarters. But probably the coolest moment was during the keynote address when Mark Zuckerberg is up there talking about everything and the crowd was going nuts. Well, guess who it was in the crowd that was going nuts? It was all the Horizon creators. It was such an overwhelming positive response that some people in the media actually wrote a story saying that they were plants, that they weren't real people, But I got to tell you, this community of creators here in Horizon Worlds is just spectacular. The passion that we all have for this platform, for each other, for the creativity, it's unlike anything anywhere else. It's super cool.
It is. We're always lucky to be interviewing a different builder every week, a different creator every week, and damn, we've probably interviewed that whole crowd, right?
We were talking about that. I think we know all of them. Yeah, we do. And that's great because they are very involved here. They are the core of this place, the roots. And we look to all of them for inspiration and guidance, and they're all fantastic people. Aaron, we did want to ask you, because, the big news is the Quest 3, right? We don't all have it yet, but we wanted to kind of get your feel for it. I know, I don't even know if you have yours yet, but I know you got to try them there, right?
So I'm anxiously awaiting a buzz on my phone to say that it's delivered, and as soon as I get that, I'll be logging off so I can re-log in and take that for a test drive. But I should have it. Now you have one on now, right?
I do. No, I'm actually not wearing it right now. And I'll tell you why I'm not wearing it right now. I just got the basic Quest 3, right? And the cord is about that, it's actually about that long. And I, am on here for a while. And so I don't have the ability to, and I was wearing it this morning, but it didn't have enough battery to do the show. So I put it away. Gotcha. But here's what I did want to say about it. If y'all did get it, the augmented reality, did anybody in here try the augmented? Oh my gosh. The augmented reality part is Matty Cakes. It is absolutely amazing. Like, you get to map out your house, and then, the first thing I did was have the little spaceship come down, cracking through my ceiling, things running all over my kitchen. It's so fun. And the picture's crystal clear. But I do have one thing that I wasn't crazy about. And you know what it is, Cal? I'm not crazy about the speaker. It's really loud. It makes me really loud. That's a problem.
Are you
Lolly loud? No. Never. I think that's just realistic.
Yeah, so you don't like the accuracy of the new Quest 3, huh?
Well, I don't know, but I am looking forward to very much all the updates we're going to get, and that extra, that extra space we have, so that we've got room for all my videos and pictures, because I need lots of those.
Yeah.
So that's fun stuff. But yeah, thanks, Aaron. We're glad you had a fun time there. Will say this too. I noticed that everybody came back really, really hyped and jazzed, and that is so good because we need those people to feel really inspired. They are, like I said, the roots of this place, and we need them feeling that way.
Yeah, there were three things that I really wanted to get out of attending Connect. One was closer relationships with the builder community, with the people that are part of Horizon. Two was I wanted to get a little bit of a vision for what's coming up and what's coming down the pike. And then three, I wanted to be excited about it. And all three of those things were check. It was spectacular.
I would have assumed you wanted a real live Oculus tour bus thing, because that picture that you guys took and put on Facebook was like, it looked like a tour from Oculus. I was like, oh, that looks cool. I'm missing out.
But what was cool is on this end, we sort of had the same setup you did. So it was really neat. We had that amphitheater look. We looked at where you guys were, and it was mirrored, and it was super cool. We loved it.
It was very similar. They did a really nice job. And that 3D video that they did, I know that's like new technology. And it's cool to see them trying to implement that so that we can experience things in VR, just like we're experiencing IRL. So
right. Absolutely. Cool. Totally agree. So
you
thanks,
both
Aaron.
are absolutely
Appreciate
spectacular. You. Everybody that's here, it's just so awesome to see everybody coming in to be a part of this amazing thing called the metaverse. So thank you all.
And we are all here because we are not all there, as the sign says. Anyways, a couple of things before we get on with our show. I did want to mention that it is a significant month for women. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as well as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So I ask all of you to please look in on your loved ones. If you think that they fit in either of those two situations or have maybe, remind them that you care, that you're there for them to lean on and talk to, because it's really important in both of those cases that they feel the love and connection of the people around them. So please keep that in mind. I like to bring it up every year at this month. I think awareness months are good because it reminds us to not forget that. So thank you guys for all of that. We got a great positive guest today.
Great guest.
Yeah. I know we've had our moments where, we have things going on in here and people are feeling a little down for a lot of different reasons, but there are some really key people in here, like the ones Aaron was talking about, that are core people here from Meta, but there are some incredible people in the metaverse that are just happy, everyday go lucky people. And this is one of them. So I would like you to welcome to the stage 3.Eyed Tiger. Ooh. All right, come on up, yeah! Boy, that's the way to enter the stage. That's the way to enter. How you doing, Tiger?
How you doing, buddy?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We are
very
great.
Good.
We are great. Tiger, you are a person that when I first met you, I could literally feel you smile through your headset. I could hear it. I could feel it. And you just exude positivity, and people flock to that. You are attracting your own following and tribe because of people like that. They want a piece of that. Make me happy. Make me feel good. What do you attribute so much positivity to?
I think it's just, I do have grumpy days, by the way. I'm not, I'm not 100%, on top of the world all the time, but I think we all do. But generally, I just think, we are here to have fun, and it's some words a good friend sort of gave me a good number of months back, and he said, like, be on this platform. If it's fun, be here. If it's not, then take yourself away from it, because you see so many sort of battles going on in here, and it's like all of it is unnecessary. There's just no point. So keep yourself away from that sort of thing. If you see an argument breaking on, distance yourself from it. You do not need to be part of it. You do not need to have an opinion on these things. It's just go off, have fun, spend some time in build mode, but just keep it going, right?
And I think that's a great attitude, and it spreads just like negativity spreads, right, Cal? If somebody's feeling really negative and pretty soon you're like, man, that is awful. Now I feel bad. Now I'm not happy, and we just keep spreading that. So thank you for all you do for spreading positivity. We really appreciate you. Where did the name 3.Eyed Tiger come from?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question. The simple answer I always give people is, hey, tigers are pretty cool. But the 3-eyed part of it is definitely, it's a sort of a spiritual reference. I'm not very spiritual as a person, but the idea behind the three eyes is you can attribute it towards sort of several religions such as Buddhism and Hinduism, and the third eye is the old in for example the Hindu religions, they wear the bindi in the middle of the head, but it's the idea behind it is being able to see more than you can with just two eyes. It's being able to see beyond. So that's just a bit of a play on.
And just a little tip, if you're a mom with young kids, this worked great. I told my kids that I had a third eye behind my hair in the back, and they believed me because I would watch them in the mirror or something and seeing them doing. I go, I see you. How do you see me? I said, I have an eye in the back of my head, so don't try any of that stuff. It works for little kids. They catch on, but it works for a while. So anyway, okay, very interesting. I know you're very much into mythology. Your worlds express that. Maybe give people a little background on why mythology.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I mean, to be honest, as a kid, I was always kind of obsessed with the whole gods and monsters and fantastical sort of realms, not of this earth, and things like one of my earliest recollections is watching Clash of the Titans, the original one. I absolutely fell in love with that movie. Right, and then sort of Jason the Argonauts, all these sort of great movies with just things that you can't see in real life. And they really sort of captured my imagination. So just extending beyond that, I always quite liked sort of then going into the reading years. It was sort of very much Dante's Inferno and John Milton. These are quite difficult books to read, but at the same time, you get the gist of it as a kid. It's these are sort of classics you'll find on the sort of the Penguin Classics shelf, and I just always like the sort of pictures they painted of these strange otherworldly things. I would like to at some point move into sort of a bit of H.P. Lovecraft as well for my world building, but that is going to be the next chapter. That's going to be quite complicated, but again, that's a very, very different kind of mythology.
Do you have a favorite character from that?
Not really, no. I just appreciate the whole sort of ecosystem of the sort of the interplay between the sort of the in terms of mythology, sort of like you've got the whole celestials, the sort of the higher sort of creatures that sort of govern us mere mortals. I always thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things at Clash of the Titans, with them up there looking down on everything, the gods up there. I really like that. That's really
makes sense now. That's probably why you like build mode so much, right? You get to go big, you can look down at people. Love it.
So fun. So fun. Well, I love your Olympus world. It's great. It's so bright white. And first I thought, I don't know, kind of a lot of bright white. But when you go in there, it feels clean. It feels godly. It feels exactly what it is, and it's pretty cool. I like that a lot. And then you've got the reverse with your Dante's kind of thing. so it's a counterbalance with all of that darkness and that. Well, it's actually not dark. It's actually very vibrant and red. So maybe tell us a little bit about that. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So I did do a bit of a thing where I was hopping between underworlds and overworlds, and again, Olympus is obviously the overworld. And I think the two Dante's Inferno worlds that I tried to pick the ones that would be most interesting to convert into virtual landscapes. So one of them was Circle 6, which is Dis, and that is, according to Dante's Inferno, the first sort of 5 levels of hell aren't actually that bad. If I just sort of put an example out there, level 1 is pretty boring, and it's got a lot of philosophers wandering around it, sort of like just discussing things, but they never quite get to ascend to heaven. But then when you get to sort of level 6, that's where the really sort of bad stuff starts happening. And I thought that sort of walled circular city would be a really interesting build to just float people on the outside of it. And then, of course, Circle 9, which is very atypical to sort of what we think about when we think of hell, being an actual frozen lake, and that is the absolute bottom level. Gigantic sort of mannequin of sort of Lucifer looking out with his 3 heads, frozen up to the waist in ice, because obviously it's where all the betrayers go. And of course, there was the whole war in heaven. He got thrown down, created the entire crater that was Inferno. And I just thought that was an interesting sort of twist to do on that one. But after that, I've moved on to that. This was the Greek underworld, so that would have been New Hades. So the reason for the new in front of it was that I tried to do it very much in the style of some of my other new worlds, which are very neon, very vibrant, with the Minotaur maze just sort of floating below it. So trying to break away from something that looked quite, the underworlds are quite depressing. The sounds, the sort of the sights, they're very dark. But with Hades, I tried to make it sort of more like gold and a little bit sort of like, I'll always play funk in there as well. And it's just, make it a bit sort of trippy, a bit fun. So that's pretty much it.
Well, I did notice, and I wanted to ask you about this. I hope I'm not putting you on the spot, but you and I were standing there, and I don't know if anyone else was standing there, and you said, people are starting to hang out in here, and I'm not comfortable. And I said to you, why? Why would you care? Everybody wants people to hang out in their worlds. Give the answer for why you prefer them not to be there, but to be somewhere.
Right. So, well, it's nice to have a sort of an area for people to get together and talk. I think, I've seen, as I'm sure you guys have as well, and a lot of people, a lot of you out there, the big social hubs in this sort of horizons, they get their fair share of problems, and it causes nightmares for the people who run it and for the people in it. And I'm just like, I don't want to manage interpersonal disputes, but I would like a sort of a cool place for people to stand around for a brief amount of time, have a conversation about new stuff, and then go world hopping. That's kind of what I want.
Do you think that that's a more positive? Like, you think it's likely to be more positive if they meet in Olympus first, or you think that this Hades world could actually, cause them to feel negative? I mean, why do you think that world, or I thought you had a different reason, so that surprised me a little bit. But go ahead. Why do you think one would be better than the other?
Well, I think, as you said, Olympus is quite bright. And the first iteration of I built of Olympus was too bright, and I ended up deleting it in about sort of 5 days after I made it and recreating it. So it's slightly less bright now, which is good. But I was getting so much feedback, people were like, this is hurting my eyes, I can't stay here. And I'm like, okay, I need to do something here. So, yeah, fair. But yeah, really, I think these things are it's nice to have your own place, your own build, just to hang out in. That's different. It's out of the way. And while it's nice to go to other people's builds as well and hang out in those, it's just nice to have something to call your own. But yeah, I think the problem is once you start thinking of themes, you kind of can't stop yourself, to the point where it was getting to the point I was churning out 1 to 2 builds a week, and it's like, this is unsustainable. I can't do this long term, so I'm having a bit of a break. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that builders do that, right, Cal? They kind of get almost like a, what do you want to call it, addiction to building, and they just keep turning them out and churning them out, and then they do that. They end up burning out. They don't really feel super connected to anything.
It evolves as well, though. Like, you get stuck in your own projects, and then you're like, your friend needs help, and then their friend needs help, and then you're kind of stuck in a loop of helping other people, collaborating with other builders, scripters, and then you're stuck in this weird little ecosystem where you're just building, scripting, building, scripting. You've got no time to enjoy yourself. So yeah. I'm really glad that you stepped away and said, no, I want to enjoy things, and and just get yourself out there. So yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, so that does make sense. We talked a little bit about what you did, what you do outside of here, and I, just share a little bit so it gives people understanding for who you are.
Sure. Okay. So I started off my professional career really on a help desk for 4 years, and then I moved on to software engineering after I was sort of almost headhunted by the management of that team. And then I sort of started off as a junior, worked myself up to an intermediate, then on to a senior. And now I've sort of taken I don't want to say an upgrade, more of a sidestep to software design. So now I'm sort of going in there, meeting with people who sort of want software systems built, and trying to think out the structure of them, where they're going to be sort of hosted, how they're going to be split apart. Doing all the documentation, basically it's very documentation heavy, a lot of diagrams, and then handing that to developers who then work off that. So it's sort of using everything I've done in my career, but using it in a different extent now to give other developers a chance to come in and actually start writing code, while I just go, here's the benefit of my knowledge, hopefully, here you go and build that.
Well, it makes sense that you're such a people person, because people that work help desks, that's one of the toughest jobs there is. I noticed a trend with, and I shouldn't even say it's not really fair. I've had experiences now where people aren't being properly trained on a help desk situation. In other words, when I was trained, it was like, you are the company. They are not talking to you. You represent, Horizons or the phone company or whoever. So understand their anger is with that, not you. So we learned, and I'm really good with that, because, I just put that shield up. You're not talking to me. You're talking to where I work. People today have a problem with that. As soon as you start, you're upset, right? Something's gone horribly wrong. You call up and you're like, bah, 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 bah. And on the other end is this person going, excuse me, you're not going to speak to me like that, And I'm like, what? You're the company. I'm the customer. So So I can see having that experience for life makes you a better host here in your worlds. It's just a really good experience. So if you've never worked customer service, give it a try. It'll make you be nicer when you call customer service, right? It's a tough job. It's a really tough job. Yeah. You have any questions, my dear? I've just been talking my head
I
off
just
over
agree.
here.
You've just sent me for a life, a reflection of my life when I worked help desks, and I was like, yeah, I had my fair share of people shouting at me. Yeah, I remember them days.
Yes,
So yeah,
some
I'm glad
people.
I'm away from that. Like,
Right. So many people, they forget, and I'm not saying customers should just unload on people, because they shouldn't, but I also understand you're emotionally involved. When you're the customer, what's happening is happening to you. If you're on the other end, nothing's happening to you. You should be able to keep it together and help this person. I think the number one sentence that anyone could ever say in customer service is, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Let's see what I can do to help you." And you will take it down 50, they'll be like, this person wants to help me. Now, you may not be able to help them, but, at least take it down to start discussing it.
There's a lot of tricks and techniques actually for sort of diffusing those sorts of conflicts. So obviously when people ring you up, they want sympathy. They want you to be on the same level. So you've got to sort of match their tone, almost match their intensity. Obviously there's a level that they can go beyond where you've got to give a bit of a warning, like if they, that's the abusive tangent. But generally people are ringing up because they've got a problem. So it's very much like when someone calls you up and they've got the problem, they think of you as initially as the enemy, right? Because you're the person who's picked up the phone, the only person they can speak to. But what you've almost got to do is sort of like, excuse my movements, but you've got to stand on the same side of the table as them and go,
right.
That's terrible. That's really bad. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so bad, and actually look at it as if you're on their side.
Right.
And then work with them and then bring it round to the options that you can then pursue for them and see what they want to take. And that is important. I think diffusion of conflict is something I don't see very often. Very often when people are being shouted at, as you said, they take it personally. They stay on this side of the table like it's you against me, and that's not the way to do it.
And it elevates, and then they want more, and then they will just exceed you, and they will go over you. I worked at a hotel once, and it's a kids' hotel. It's called the Great Wolf Lodge, if you guys have ever heard of it, and it really blew me away because I worked for a bank where the bank was very like, you give them as little as possible. And so then I work at this Wolf Lodge. And basically what I learned, it took me a while to get it through my head, is I was an advocate for the customers. They wanted me at my level to be the advocate for the customers. So they would be like, give away whatever you got to give away. But obviously our goal is for you to give away as little as possible. So I would pride myself on, can I buy them off with, video game coupons, or do I have to give them a free hotel room? I mean, where are we on this scale, right? But it was such a fun spot to be in because I had that power. I was the person. They already went through the basic stuff of, can we resolve this with you just talking? No, we're beyond that. So I'm the next level, and that's a fun level. It's like, well, how about a free hotel room? They're like, well, okay. Right? And you're like, oh, you're the hero. So that was fun. Anyway, enough about customer service. If you guys we're all good on teaching you about customer service if you need some help. I'm done. Okay. Tiger, so you're taking a little break off a building right now. If you were focusing on just one of your worlds, would it be Olympus? Is that the one that you focus on the most, or?
I think that's the one I'll stick with for a while. I think that's the one I'm trying to remain in frequently. Although, it's always nice to drive a bit of traffic intermittently to other worlds just by being in them. But I think that's the one that I'll probably centralize on for a while. I'm helping a few people as well. A few unannounced little things going on in the background, but you won't see me taking much credit in those. I'll be just pumping them out for other people. So,
well, that's really nice of you. And I've heard that you do help people, so that's very kind of you. What was your reason for making the Silent Cafe?
Oh, the Silent Cafe.
Explain what that is to everybody.
Oh, wow. So in a nutshell, way back in sort of February, I'd noticed there was a keyboard asset by the very clever Pigeon Number 12, who I've never actually met in person. She's done some incredible stuff, even the interactive chess set, but she had made a keyboard that I was seeing in a lot of people's worlds. And I was like, I'd quite like to have a go at making a keyboard. Yeah, so I thought let's try it because I was quite new to scripting at that point. So it's it's a challenge. So I thought, yeah, let's give it a go. So five attempts later, and to be honest, I had 5 different working keyboards, but they all failed in some respect. Like the first one, too many colliders, too many triggers. It was too heavy on the capacity, so there's no way anyone was going to use that. The second one was a lot smaller, and it had like a toggle where you could press it, and the keys would change, so it sort of reduced the amount of collidables and triggers. So that was okay. And in fact, I think that one I have given out to a few people as well. Version 3, waste of time. Version 4, waste of time. Version 5, nearly done, but good enough. And I tried to model it on the actual keyboard that you get in Horizon Worlds in build mode, try and make a replica of it. And that worked pretty well. But I sort of sat on it for months, and I thought, well, actually, sorry, no, there was an announcement in, I think it was May, that the World Keyboard was coming, and I was like, abandon this then. This is surplus. This is using up capacity, and Horizons are giving us a keyboard. It was in venues for a while, in arcade for a while, but it's only this week that they've actually deployed it out now to all worlds. So I didn't know that. So 2 weeks ago, I put together the Silent Cafe because I thought I've put all that time into the keyboard. Let's just make a cafe for anyone. There's a lot of people on this platform who are either like mute or I think not non-verbal, I think is the correct term.
Also, people who can't hear very well. There are people
absolutely.
who cannot hear very well, and that will help too with them.
And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to make a world where you could just have like different arrangements of seats, all with keyboards in front? So, for example, if you wanted to talk to someone who couldn't hear you, tap, 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 send them a message, and then they could tap one back. And I thought that'd be really cool. Just have little gathering spots.
Kind of like we're all sitting here with our cell phones and talking to each other, right?
Absolutely.
Kind of like that.
It's not an unfortunate thing. It's a good thing that the World Keyboard is now rolled out to all worlds, as far as I'm aware. So that cafe may not be around much longer. It was it was a good idea with an asset that I already made, and I thought let's just put that out there. That's a thing. So yeah, that was the idea.
That's awesome.
That's a really cool idea.
It is a cool idea. I wanted to turn this one over a little bit earlier because I know there's people that probably want to talk to you. So I want to do that unless either one of you have anything else you want to add.
Just want to give a shout out actually to Sorry27 if he's here. Can I see him anywhere?
Are you here? Sorry,
might be hiding
Oh,
around.
he's here. He's right
on the
there.
railings.
Come on up, Sorry. Come on.
He's just launched the most incredible world. It's called RC Tandems and brackets drifting. If you haven't seen it already, it's absolutely brilliant. You just go in there, pick one of 8 remote control cars, and just drift them around the track. Takes about 5 minutes to get the hang of it.
It's cool.
But it's awesome.
I heard about that yesterday. A couple
So
people
cool.
were raving about that. So that sounds really good.
It took
So
him 24 hours to build the initial version. I think it's come on a bit since then as well.
He's being shy,
Amazing.
or he's just ignoring us. He's looking up at the ceiling, but that's okay. We'll still go
Good
see your
job.
world. So cool. Hey, before we get going with questions, does anybody have any Halloween worlds to shout out? Is there anybody that they like? Oh my gosh, you got to see this one. I hear Zellrainer. Are you on the speaker? Go ahead and say on the speaker the one you were going to talk about.
So one very good world that is coming out on Friday, by the sound of it, is one of Dropshot's new worlds.
Oh yeah, Dropshot's
nice.
great. Yeah.
He will be putting out a world, I think he calls Freddy. So be on the watch for that one. It's fun, it's exciting, and it's challenging.
All right.
So check him out on Friday to see if his world has dropped.
All right. Thanks,
Nice.
Zell. Good advice.
Looking forward
Anybody
to
else
that.
have anything they want to shout out Halloween wise before we get into questions?
Right here.
No? Oh, okay. Go ahead,
Sturmy,
Stern. Come
come
on
on
up.
There are 2. There's The Hallway by Paulie Lewis, and also the Kawaii creators have did up their daycare thing. It's called now Daycare Monster Baby thing. So
All right.
nice.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Stern.
Thanks. You can, Sturm, you can stay because you had a question, right? You can go ahead and roll into your question.
I'm going to
when you-
sneeze, so just bring the next person up.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead and sneeze. Claire, did you want to do your question? Come on up.
Yeah, okay.
Or you just, come on.
Yeah. It's a comment. Because I met Tiger, I think it was like a couple of weeks ago when we was in the new Olympus, and you gave me some advice for if I want to bring, well, this would be for anyone, I'm going to say this for. Whoever wants to bring on, like say, a work colleague, wants to be starting on VR life, you know what I mean? New Olympus is best to come when you got no children, and it's more quiet. It's adult controlled. It's more like it's so peaceful. So I know you don't have kids screaming your ear out. Like as we get in Soapstone. Soapstone is more like the second best for the kids.
Oh, thank
side of
you.
it. But no, Tiger. Sorry, sorry, Alan. But New Olympus is definitely a world to go to, just for people who are like got anxiety problems. So like something calmer. It's definitely worth going. New Olympus, 18 plus.
All right.
That's
Thank you,
definitely
Claire.
one
Appreciate it.
wise.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Great. Okay, Storm, go ahead with your question.
So my question is, what inspired you to make New Olympus?
Right. Okay. So after doing again, coming from Dante's Inferno, then onto Hades, I thought I need to do an overworld at some point. So Olympus was basically the inspiration was, I mean, Clash of the Titans again, just to sort of recall that very, very, this is why the first one was so bright, because if you remember in the movie, it is literally white.
It
the sky
is.
is white,
It really
the walls are white,
is. Yes.
everything is super bright. But I realized that didn't translate well to VR on the first attempt. But if you look at the sort of the concept art behind that, I tried to go very, very close to it. So big columns, sort of buildings just open on the side of a mountain, high above the clouds, and that was pretty much the inspiration for it.
And my second question is, what is your biggest challenge and accomplishment in the metaverse?
That sounds like 3 questions, Storm.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
I'm just kidding. It's fine. I'm just giving you crap. Go ahead.
He's a tough one. Okay, biggest challenge was definitely learning all the build tools, way back in sort of, I think probably late January, February. So Timmy Burt's, obviously, Jay Raid, Jenny, and Bunny Boo were all working on that place. And Jay very kindly sort of took me on because they said they could do with an extra hand to help with the scripting, because Jay was really good with the scripting, but he'd seen some of the stuff that I'd done in the sandbox. He was like, come on, help us out. I was like, okay, that's cool. So yeah, I sort of came on board with that team, and learning scripting was really challenging because as we all know, if we've been in it a while, you'll do something that works fine. Like, for example, you'll put in an elevator with a nice closing door on it and a button which moves it up and down. And 2 weeks later, there'll be an update on Tuesday and the whole thing breaks. And it's like, oh, that's annoying. So any advice I'll say to any budding scripter is keep your stuff simple, because you will end up fixing it unexpectedly.
Yeah, and I will go over this for the millionth time because we always bring it up. Waffle Copters, who was very instrumental in creating Horizon Worlds, will tell you that he never uses unrecognized shapes. He said, I built my worlds once. They're very complex. I do not want to go back and find my world in shambles because some unrecognized shape got caught up in the software update. Made perfect sense to me. So he goes, that's why I don't do it. You think I don't like those shapes? Of course I do, but that's why I don't do it. So as long as everybody says, I expect it, I know these things are going to happen, then hey, go for it. Use the unrecognized shapes, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Anything can and will break at some point. You just got to be prepared to fix it, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on up, Maddie.
Sorry, my son just walked in from school, so I was nervous he was going to talk while I was on stage. So your interpretations of Dante Alighieri and John Milton are does anybody else like these things rocket out at you while you're watching the show?
We love it, Maddie.
But
everybody's got short attention spans.
Your interpretations of John Milton and Dante Alighieri are unparalleled, to say the least, right? Now, I found it interesting. You said that the first 5 circles are rather boring. Like when you have circle 5, which is Wrath, the flaming caskets with the bodies inside. And no, wait. The people who are fighting on the river Styx while, the wallowers are beneath the surface, And you and I spoke extensively about this. I thought that was really incredible. So I would definitely like to see more later. But do you think that you would ever translate any other authors, like maybe like Geoffrey Chaucer and the Canterbury Tales and stuff like that? Because that's incredible works too when it comes to that sort of context.
Yeah, do you know what? I haven't thought about it, to be honest, Matty. Nothing is off the table, but I certainly didn't read that when I was younger. So it's in terms of my influences, that's that's not. It wouldn't be my first thoughts. I think there's too much work to be done on the other areas of sort of. I do want to start casting my eye towards sort of Hindu mythology as well. I don't know if I'm allowed to call it mythology actually, but certainly sort of a lot of the polytheistic tendencies and a lot of the sort of the. It's going to be crazy. I don't want to give too much out, but I think if we have some Ganeshas and Vishnus, maybe even some Kalis, let's see where we go with that. It's going to be a challenge.
I'm sorry, I moved to the side like that. I couldn't read Cal's question
okay.
with your name in the way. No, dude, that's great because already your interpretations are remarkable. There's no one coming near you anytime soon. So, congratulations.
Thank you, Matthew. That's awesome.
Very nice, very nice. All right, well, good.
He ain't gonna be able to get his head out
Anyone
the door
else have
today.
any comments or questions they want to just feel free, even if you want to come over and tell us how amazing we are. We're all good with it.
Or
Come up.
feel
tell us.
free to share it in the world chat as well, guys. We can ask the questions directly to Tiger. Happy to do it that way as well.
Are you coming back up, Claire? Did you want to say something else, or are you just hanging out? Okay.
You know what Cal says? You're being amazing, Lolly. Ignore what Cal says earlier.
Aw. I'm sorry, Claire. Could you say that one more time? I didn't hear you. No, I'm kidding. Thank you.
Lolly is amazing.
Thank you, Claire. Absolutely. Don't remove. Are they polling her?
No. I will start the poll off though.
Oh my gosh. Horrible people.
I joke.
So glad you're here.
Thank you.
All right. Well, if we don't have any more questions or comments, I will say, that we are so happy that you were here with us. I would love it if you would open a portal in a minute, maybe to Olympus, which is everybody's favorite. And those of you who haven't seen it, or those of you who just want to go back and hang out, can head to Olympus and pick Tiger's ear a little bit longer, if you have any other thing you want to ask him. We, are continuing to celebrate Halloween this month with the Soapstone. And as I told you guys before, it's my favorite month. So we have nonstop Halloween inspired things going on in here. So wear your costumes to the shows. If you're coming to the sound check or to the musician showcase this week, maybe pick a fun Halloween song. There's tons of them out there, or something that sounds, creepy or spooky to you. That's always fun to add. Lots of Broadway stuff is fun to add in there too. So hope to see you guys at some of those events. We had a blast, Sturm, last week on the sound check. It was incredibly fun. So I hope you guys join us.
I'm interested before we go, because Halloween is your favorite season, right?
Yes.
I want to hear your best. No. I just want to hear your best impression of a ghost or a witch.
I knew you were going to say a witch. How did I know you were going to say that? Well, Cal, I'm just too sorry. I know, when I laugh, and now you guys are never going to be able to unhear this. It's terrible, but I recognized it myself. I wouldn't say I laugh like a witch. I laugh like a chicken. Yes. So when I laugh, it's like it's like a chicken. So I know it. So I can't really do a witch because
scary enough. Yeah, I
should just be a chicken with a witch hat. That's what I should do. That would be believable. That would be believable. But
fair enough. With that amazing disappointment.
It's just so nice. The comments you always have. They're just so sweet.
I know. I try. I do try.
I appreciate it. Okay, back to you, Tiger. So if you don't mind, let's go out in the courtyard and let's open up that portal to Olympus. Oh, we can do it right here.